Welcome to the Encore today. We're going to talk about a question that Wes and I get a lot is full-time ministry. So what that means, what that doesn't mean. How do I know if I'm called?
I know what you mean. I already don't like the term.
Right.
I'm already in a mood about it.
Yeah, I got you in a mood?
Just like that.
Yeah. You don't like the term. I know.
But I'm working on not being in a mood in here with you because I get so comfortable with you. And as I've said before, my wife told me I got to chill out.
I know, but every time I'm like, this is what we're going to talk about today, you're like, what are you bringing this up for? I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I quit.
I think what it boils down to is I don't want to do this.
You said that a few times.
I don't want to do Encore anymore.
I know. I'm going to have to get another.
I get myself in too much trouble in here, Scott.
I'm going to have to get another co-host.
No. Don't freak out, everybody. I'm just being dramatic.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like, okay.
I use the term full-time ministry because that is the term that's thrown out there.
I know exactly what you meant, and I don't put fault on you. I'm trying to spur the conversation in the proper direction by saying I already don't like the term.
I agree.
Because of the implications it puts on everybody.
Absolutely. All right. Did you have something else you wanted to mention?
I sure
first?
did.
Yeah, what do you got?
Here we go. I got this question for you.
Oh, boy.
The other day, I was riding my motorcycle, my road bike, with Aaron on the back. And I was out in the country, like way out. It was great.
Yeah, you live way out there.
Well, I was further than that.
Okay.
And we passed this like big church parking lot. And I just randomly like swerved in the parking lot and stopped. And I said to Erin, I go, you want to try riding this motorcycle? She's like, oh my word. Yeah. And so I get off the bike and I have to accept, like, if she tips this bike over and like scratches it all up, that's on me. That's my fault. So I was okay with that because it was.
Well, hold the phone right there. I'm going to interrupt you. Are you more concerned about scratching it up than injuring your wife? You were like, don't scratch.
Well, I hadn't thought about it till you just said that just now. But I think
I just pictured like a full wipeout. She's rolling on pavement, and you're like, my bike!
Driving 5 miles an hour in the parking lot. She didn't ride down. No, there was no plan to ride on the road. I just wanted her to kind of meander around the parking lot and just feel the motorcycle. So I got off and stood in the grass, and she did great, and it didn't tip over. She asked me a couple questions, and of course, it's a 5-speed with a clutch, and you can imagine. And she's hyped about it. So I was in the garage last night, and I had wiped some stuff off on it. Like I had cleaned it up a little bit and put it. And my kids came in. I'm like, don't park that by the motorcycle. It was like their dirt bike or something. Okay. And Erin goes, by my motorcycle. So she was all excited about it. Have you ever ridden a motorcycle?
Yeah, a couple times. One was yours.
What are you talking about? Not the one we're talking about.
No, I don't know. I don't even know.
Dirt bike or something, maybe?
Yeah, is there that much of a difference? It was like a...
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in functionality. It's just so heavy, right? So it's just way different. But what do you mean?
Well, I guess...
I don't remember this.
I don't know. It was down your road, down Lovejoy, dude.
It must have been...
yeah, and I burnt my calf on the...
I do kind of remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Was it?
So that was an older, it was an old dirt bike.
It was full clutch and everything like that. So my friend had one in high school, dirt bike, I guess. I've never been on like a Harley Davidson. Literally, you're gonna be mad at me. Zero interest, dude. Zero.
I don't have a Harley. I don't want one.
You've had a Harley,
not owned.
What?
I've never owned a Harley.
Really?
Scott. What are you talking about? What universe?
How would I know what you've owned?
Because you've known me for 25 years.
Yeah, and I've seen you wear a Harley Davidson T-shirt.
I've been a poser many times.
Oh, okay.
People give me stuff. They're like, here, Pastor West, so I'm going to be a nice guy, despite popular belief.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be like, oh, cool, man, I'll wear your shirt.
I assumed because of the T-shirt. This is going to bring up another question now. What kind of apparel would you never wear? Somebody gives you something, you're like,
this is a
dude,
good
I'm
question.
not wearing that.
Well, so let me just clarify. I've never owned a Harley Davidson.
I
don't like loud bikes. I've ridden them. Other people, many. just because everyone I know basically rides a Harley. Oh, you want to ride my bike? Ride my bike. That's what got me into it in the first place. But I don't want one. It's too big, too heavy, too Harley-ish, too loud. Yeah. I'm not mad at anybody. It's not my vibe. So this goes with that question. What kind of apparel? I'm not going to ever act like, I don't want to act like somebody I'm not. The people that do that in any facet of life embarrass themselves. That would be embarrassing. Okay, I just want to be myself everywhere I go. So I'm not a Harley guy. I'm not a leather vest guy. Now, don't take this out there, people, as me mocking you that are. If you are, I ride with Mikey Sullivan sometimes. He's a Harley guy. I've ridden his Harley.
Okay.
And Mikey's a Harley guy.
Yeah, he is.
Mikey Harley. So Mikey, he'll go full vest and beard and sunglasses and I think no helmet. Like he doesn't give a rip, dude. And he's got a big loud bike. Pulls into the barbecue joint. Probably got a wallet chain.
Stereotypical.
Mikey taking some hits right now.
Barbecue
but
joint.
Mike, it's great. Like you pull in, nobody's like, what's it? If I pull in with my, look at my haircut. Like I went to Los Angeles and tried to talk to these guys in this neighborhood, and they were convinced I was an undercover police officer. And I go, why do you think I'm a cop? They're like, look at you. You look exactly like a police officer. Like I don't look.
You don't look the part of a Harley guy.
So I'm not gonna like all of a sudden grow my beard and wear like a bandana on my head and be like, "There's Pastor Wes." Like it's just embarrassing. So I'm not that guy. So I wouldn't wear that. I guess what I'm saying. I wouldn't wear the look. Start getting forearm tattoos. And I know I'm not mad at anyone who does. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not making fun of those guys. Yeah. It would be embarrassing for me and you to go out and have a midlife and start pretending that we're Harley guys.
What I'm going to tell you,
I'm not going to buy a Corvette and ride around in Oakleys either. Like, vroom.
Your Harley Davidson T-shirt confused me because I just have a memory of. I've known you for a long time. I don't know specific bikes enough to even think about it. That's why. It would be like you going, you have TaylorMade or Callaway clubs. I'm like, why would you know that or why would you care? And you're going to be offended. Like Harley Davidson, Honda, Indian.
You are not stupid. You're not. You cannot play stupid right now. You know darn well what a Harley is. The big, loud.
I know
most
what
Harleys.
it is. I don't pay attention enough to see your bike and go. It would never cross my mind to even ask.
What did you think my motor? This is not even I'm not even mocking you. The motorcycle I ride now, you've seen it. The black one?
Yeah.
Did you think that was a Harley?
No.
Okay.
No, I thought you had one in the past.
Okay, fair.
And I can't even, Anyway,
okay, fair. Yeah. No, I did not. But okay. That's enough about that.
That is enough about that. I like that conversation about the apparel that you would or wouldn't wear. Anyway, outside of a bet, I'm just gonna.
I tried to make that about you, and you made it back about me, and now I.
Make it about me. Go ahead. and finish that.
I wanted to know if you wanted to ride on the road ever, if you had any desire, because of Aaron in the parking lot. I was gonna get to because you have a real attitude about motorcycles, mostly because of Harleys and loud bikes, But tell me that there doesn't seem to be something fun about it when you see someone go by on an 80-degree day. No.
I don't see people and desire to do it. When I rode your bike, I was like, whoa, there was something there. Yes, right. For sure.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, let's go.
Full-time ministry. You love that term. Okay. Off the rails now. Here we go.
Is Mikey Sullivan going to call me now?
Call Mikey. Call Wes out.
He's gonna be like,
Mikey is a fabulous dude. I absolutely love that
dude.
guy.
I wouldn't have brought him up if he wasn't.
He's a Harley guy. Yeah, he's gonna tell you why Harley's better. He should. I want him to fight with you. And
when we called his brother out, Michael
for the Marvel stuff. Was it
for the Marvel stuff?
Yeah.
I got called out in the hallway immediately. He's like, Pastor Wes, I don't like what you had to say about Marvel or DC or something.
Well, he did, but you know how much of a fool I made of myself I couldn't differentiate between Marvel and DC, and he was mocking me, and I'm like, I don't know the difference. A little bit.
Let's go.
Full-time
ministry.
Okay. What do you not like about the term? I had plenty of things to talk about, but we've wasted enough time, so I'm just going to dive right in.
Yeah, we have.
What do you not like about the term? I know where you're going with this, but we'll
it makes it seem that there are those who are, it makes it seem like there's a special group that do the work of the ministry as defined in the Great Commission.
Yeah.
And those who aren't is obligated to it.
Yes.
Like me and you, we have to do this. But everyone that comes, we do it when we can.
Yep.
And that's not a thing.
No, that's totally true. So
it's also there's an us and them, and there's a, it caters to, it can cater to problems.
I definitely think it caters to problems too. Yeah. So, and the other thing too, we'll kind of talk about the problem side of it too. You've had this before happen all the time. People assume that, dude, it must be great to be in full-time ministry, and they think it is this every day is perfect, super spiritual. You're in prayer meetings and Bible studies all day long, and it's just like the joy of the Lord is just constantly, running your life, and it's And I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit.
I know what you mean. I know.
But so I'm going to ask you this. This is related. What is, in general, not like a specific story, what is the best thing about you being a pastor for you, and what is the hardest thing? I don't want you don't have to have a specific story. But
dear. They're probably related.
Okay.
The best thing is, the Lord called me to be a preacher. And, I understand pastor and shepherding, there's way more than standing up and preaching. But that is the deepest burn that I have in my whole life. I'm talking my whole life. I have to be careful that it doesn't eat the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Or it disqualifies me to do the one. So the best thing is, whether it's sitting and talking to someone or preaching to a group of people somewhere, is opening the Bible and proclaiming the Word of God to people. And I don't just mean a crowd. It can be in a restaurant. Like I was texting with a friend of mine last night, needing some counsel, and I'm pushing him to the Bible. And he's like, man, it's really helping me. It's not me. It's like, and watching that power work in somebody's life. I love that. That's the best part, when I become almost someone else in a way. When the power of God takes over and I can proclaim the Word of God, and I feel a power beyond myself happen. I love that. If I didn't do that, it'd be torturous. But the worst thing is, it's hard to, I want to be careful how I say it, because it makes it can I've heard that I can be taken the wrong.
I've heard that too. I don't know
I simply don't understand it.
No way.
I've heard that I could come off in such a way that could be hurtful. I just can't imagine doing that. But the devil works within the body of Christ. The people. The devil can cause divisions, and the Bible talks about this from cover to cover. The factions and divisiveness and that backbiting, lack of unity. When we all, and I'll include myself, become ungodly within trying to be godly, within trying to do the work of the Lord, and we become ungodly in it, it is a vile taste in your mouth. It is a exhausting, it'll grind you down to nothing. When God uses people. And I'm not talking about don't ever criticize. I'm not talking about godly criticism or godly There's conflict.
Of course.
And there's a way to do that where a beautiful thing can happen and we all grow for it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about sinful behavior in the church. It's hard to take. It's hard to survive it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so I would say it's it's similar. Like you and I, it's very similar. It doesn't always come out in the same way, but like with young adults, it could be anything for me. Like a young adults, it could be a one-on-one conversation, or it could be, on a Sunday sermon or whatever, depending on what the thing is. But like when people, you can see in them, even sometimes they can't express it in words. Like they'll come up and just go, I don't even know what I'm saying, but I feel I want to do this. Like Christ has changed me, or I want to be baptized. And even like the baptism conversation, those things will happen.
Yeah.
And it's kind of beautiful, because sometimes you can just see it in them, and they don't even have the right words to say. And they're just like, I don't even know what I'm saying. I just know I got to do this thing. and they're asking for, like, point me in the right direction or help me get connected. Those things are the things that I'm like, oh, dude, that brings me back. Conversations with young adults that I have, and even teaching to young adults, like I feel alive in that moment. It's weird because I'm a true introvert, which basically means I'm recharged on my own. So it is, I don't mean this in a mean way, it is exhausting to prepare for messages and teach them. Like, and I'm worn out, but there is this sense of, I don't even know how to explain it, the satisfaction of, like, that you feel like you're being used by God in that sense.
I mean, so. I don't mean to be pastor guy right here. Is the word, the biblical word, is it fulfillment? I would say that I feel fulfilled, like there is nothing left I need in this moment of time when that feeling happens.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I was created to do. Yeah. I was just used of the Lord to do it. There was a result brought by the Holy Spirit. There's nothing else to see in this world. Like, there's no mountain, there's no ocean, there's no rainbow that can give me that
fulfillment.
I'm like, wow,
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, and the negative side of that is, some of it's like in your own head, the battle of perception and whatever, even like comments and stuff that we say on here. It's sometimes the fight with people, and I could attribute some of it to misunderstanding too. Yeah. But yes, there are some fights and some that are really hard. And, like, sometimes you're like, dude, like, I feel like, personally, this is just like a confession, like, you feel like you're giving so much in the sense of working towards that, teaching them, meeting with that, just to get punched back in the face. You're like, oh my goodness. So
hard sometimes.
And that's whatever. That's the way that the enemy works, I think, sometimes to try to have us doubt ourselves or to knock us down. So, all right. Yeah, that's what I got with that. So, full-time ministry, the term, we don't like it because in a bigger sense,
say it.
All Christians
Everyone's in full-time ministry.
Are called to, we'll use the term, full-time ministry.
Everybody's in it. Yeah. If you're a Christian, you're definitely called to it. Your job, your school, all the things.
And again, we talk about this a ton, but it still it lends itself to the sense that if I'm not in church, then I separate my whole life. And it's like there's the spirituality on Sunday, or maybe your Bible study on whatever night of the week, and then everything else is separate. So it's like it's work. We talked about this, I can't remember, a couple weeks back, about like our lives being that. Yeah. And separated. So that's why we don't like the word full-time ministry. I get it. It makes sense. I would have said it at one point, legitimately said it at one point, like I feel called the full-time ministry.
I still may use it to describe, because you got to use terms that people understand sometimes as to what they're, but right.
And what we're saying is you get paid to be a minister.
Yeah, we're really talking about, and the Bible has stuff to say about that. We're talking about the great privilege of not having to also work another job, give time to anything to provide for your life. That the people of God, faithfulness of the Lord, provide for your life, so you can do. And the truth is, we probably do intensely focus on it more.
Right.
And that's not necessarily good either. Like that someone like. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but that's what that means.
Yeah, it does mean that. But again, the bigger picture is every Christian is called to full-time ministry. Yeah. Some people do it at hospitals, at doctor's offices, in schools, whatever your occupation is. Like it is not that much different than what you and I are doing. And we're like, I always say this, like our job is about people. It's not about programs or priorities, although that is a part of it. Like it's about people. Yeah. So we should be teaching and walking with people and spending time with people. Many of you already are doing that. Like you're at a school, you're whatever, General Motors, Ford, whatever it is. You're surrounded by people, and you're living your life. So are you a Christian? That's full-time ministry. You have conversations with these people, have them come out to coffee, whatever. They're getting to see who you are. You work with somebody 40 hours a week for a year, I can assure you they know you fairly well, right?
Sometimes better than your own family. That's not good.
Right, but right. That part, you're right. That part is not good.
Yeah,
but it's true. So, okay, I do want to speak to this side of it, though. People that say, whatever you want to call it. I want to be in full-time ministry. I want to give my life to be a minister of the gospel and not work another job. We get that a lot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. I'll start with you. Advice that you would give them. What steps would I take to begin this process? And then bigger than that, how do I even know, like, this is for me?
Well, that's the very first thing. You better know.
Yeah.
Tony Evans said one time, for anyone who knows who he is, he said, if we weren't called to this, you wouldn't make it. You wouldn't stay. Like, you eventually, there are moments where you come, the only thing you fall back, the only reason you show up the next day is the only reason sometimes is because you go back to that moment. God called me to do this. God told me to do this. If it's just about what you want, or you thought it looked great, or at the time you had cool people in your life that did it, and you wanted to be with them, or whatever, you won't make it. You have to go back to the voice of God. So if they say that, it might be because they're hearing that. I think about Samuel the prophet when he was a young boy in Eli's house. He would hear the voice of God in the night, and he would, did you call me? No, I didn't call you. Go back to bed. He comes back in. Did you call me? And eventually Eli interprets what's going on. He's like, listen, next time say, your servant is listening, because God was calling Samuel to be a prophet. I'm not saying you hear the voice of the Lord waking you up out of bed at night, but you better know where and when and how did God call you, and to do anything else in your life would be disobedient to the Lord, and you'd be tortured with unsatisfaction because you knew God told you to do something. You've got to know that. And I think we've seen people over the years, no judgment on them at all, just a matter of illustration, that did not necessarily have that, or were not certain of that, and they didn't make it. Like, you don't make it. Like, it just, eventually they're like, I can't.
Yeah.
And I want to go, oh, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
And it's not to say as a Christian you're less than full-time out there, going back to what we were saying, but to devote to a body of believers all of your life, all of your time, about every day, it's an intense run. So I guess you need to know that the Lord said it.
Absolutely. But I think I want to throw one other thing with that too. Like the people that come and say, dude, I'm out. I can't do this. I would say it's possible. I don't know what God's calling you to or whatever, but it's also possible that you have or are running from something else that God has called you to do. And ministry was never it. And we can play that off as
good.
I would say some people assume or expect it to be, like I said, it's all roses and daisies. That's not what is it? I don't know. Sunshine and roses every day.
Sure.
And then they find out it's not. But maybe they're going, this is what I want to do as a Christian, and go, maybe God's calling me to something else. Yeah. So I do want to throw that out there and go, it's possible you weren't called to this. So when you say no judgment, I would say, yeah, I absolutely agree. Be sure of your calling, one way or the other, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You want to be a pastor, a children's minister, worship leader, or something different. A nurse, a teacher, a doctor, whatever.
Right.
I would imagine that God is calling all of us to something, and we would want to know what that is. So next step for that person, they're saying, okay, I do want to. I'm pretty sure of this calling.
Yeah.
What do I do about it?
I would talk to a shepherd about it, somebody entrusted in your life that you look to or that has helped you or been instrumental by the Lord in your life. I'd just begin a conversation with somebody that might know something about it, and that is willing to speak true things to you, even if they can be difficult or encouraging, whatever they may be. I mean, that was the first thing I did. I remember feeling it, 19 years old or whatever, and I just thought, oh my goodness, and I had a pastor in my life. I just started talking to him about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what this means. Yeah. I'd probably be happy if it wasn't real, but I think that it might be. And, and we just, he would ask good questions, and then eventually there becomes a path that you try to take. And not probably everybody's path is different.
Yeah, I would say everyone's is different. So it's hard because it's hard to put expectations on it. And it's, like we've seen so many people have so many conversations and worked with many people. Like their stories are so much different. So it is hard. It's hard to put somebody on this perfect path that you go, do this for 2 years, and all of a sudden it just doesn't work that way.
Didn't work that way for me. I thought it might, and I tried all those things.
Right. And my story is different too, and I feel like I think I was fighting it for a while, and maybe surrendered at a little bit later of an age. But the other thing I would say to those that think they might have that calling, talk with somebody, but then try to get involved where you can see it
most definitely
on a first-hand basis, because again, I don't know how else to say it. There's so many expectations of what it is or what it isn't, and but truthfully, you're also testing yourself to know, like, am I called to this? I think that's okay to try to figure it out, to try to walk in that. But the thing that I guess discourages me a little bit on this side is those that say that and they're not in any way pursuing it. And I'm not saying school does not have to be the answer. Connect with your local pastor and be like, I got to get plugged in. I need to see ministry a little bit closer up, a little bit longer than 1 month or something like that, where you see some of the reality of it, and to really begin to see that you get the highs and lows of it. And I mean, I don't know how else to say it. And eventually you go, like, I'm called to this, or I can't do it,
It's a good point. I know we got to end here, don't we?
We do.
I have a guy, a couple guys, that are exploring that would be the word. May not culminate in it. That's up to them and the Lord. I don't know. I can't speak to that. But one of them is like 17 years old, and he feels something. And I remember that was about the time, it was, in my life where I'm like, And I don't know what'll happen, but I feel just by the words he's saying, the feeling, I know what he's talking about. I'm like, you don't know how to say that unless that's happening. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way that they talk about it where, like, you wouldn't know how to manufacture that if that wasn't happening. That's exactly
totally know what you mean,
what I felt. And a lot of people didn't understand it. And so he communicates that. Well, you talk about doing more than just saying words and moving on with your life. This guy's on me, dude, in a good way. Like, and I'm availing myself to a point, we have a little, but I also want to, like, how much is it in you? Are you just are you waiting for me to do this for you? Are you waiting for me to define it? I cannot do that.
Yeah.
If this is in you, it will bother you to death. And I do see he's on me. He's like, man, can I have your preaching notes in advance of the sermons? And I'm like, sure. And so I email him my notes, which are...
Can you read them?
No. They're cryptic, weird. Yeah. I got this weird system I do. But he's interested in that, and that's interesting. And so he follows along, and he tries to predict. What text are you preaching this weekend? This text. And then he'll try to, what would he say? And he'll try to predict what I would say. Like, this is what I think the text, where you go. And then sometimes it lines up. Sometimes he has a different perspective. Where are you going to go next week? I want to guess. Well, no, I was actually I wish I'd have thought of that. Whatever, that kind of thing. And so that's an interesting, like, he's grabbing on, and he's talking from the aspect of, he might be called to be a preacher.
Yeah, okay.
But he's grabbing on to things on his own. And because you can't, if it's real, there comes a time you can't shake it. Like, it's just all you think about. I used to walk around the woods preaching to nobody. I'm just talking as a preacher. There are other callings out there. Yeah. So, like, take some initiative wherever that may be. Like, when I felt it, I was teaching Sunday school. Like, I just had to get this out on a regular basis.
Yeah, take some initiative and be patient with whatever God's calling is or isn't in that sense, because I do think, I don't know, maybe there's some assumptions that, hey, I told my pastor this, he's going to hire me as the youth pastor tomorrow. Like, it doesn't always work that way. So are you willing to do it regardless of applause or pay or whatever? Take some initiative to try it, and I think through that, hopefully you find a path. I would say this, we're going to close out here, is, again, we say this with everything, but if we are that in any way in your life, come have a conversation with us. We would love to walk you through that. Again, there's no guarantees, no promises of what that means, but we'll kind of walk that out and kind of help you find some things. If you have another person in your life that is in full-time ministry, let that go to that person and have that conversation. But certainly, like, you're going to the Lord trying to, confirm that and understand if that's a real thing or not. So many things we could say about this. I know
this is good.
This one we could talk about, but hopefully it'll bring some people forward with some questions. But we want to close by saying too that the word full-time ministry, is kind of a cheesy little word. We're everybody is called to full-time
ministry. We're all
in it. Our life is a ministry. So, all right, we'll close with that. As always, don't take our word for it, being His, and we'll see you next time on the Encore.